Hi, it's Teresa with Crafty with Teresa. Thank you so much for joining me today. In today's video, I wanted to take a minute to revisit a card pack that I previewed, about a month or so ago. I'll add in the previous video right here in this video so you can take a look at it. So it's called the Thoughtful Journeys Memory Card Pack. Well, here's a look at one of the 3x4 designs in this pack. So I mentioned in my last video I wanted to step up a few more of these cards, so that was my goal. Now, as usual, I started this video with one thought in mind, and by the end of the video, other ideas were jumping out at me. So great news though for you, you will see several techniques, plus you'll also see one of these card designs. I actually mirrored the card design and created 5 more additional cards from just mirroring this design. I hope that makes sense. Well, enough of my chatting, let's get to crafting. So the first thing I wanted to do was show you some of the items that we'll be using in this video. Next, before I forget, I do have a host code if you want to order any of these products. It's listed here at the top, and it'll also be in the description box. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I'm actually grabbing some cardstock. You'll see that I'm going to look to see what type of design. We'll walk through that here in just a minute. First I thought, well, let's take a look at this black cardstock and see how that looks behind this design, and I liked it. With these Stampin' Up markers, I'm going to take a few of the colors and use them to create the floral design. And I'll show you a few techniques along with that. But this is an older set from close to my heart that I still had in my stash because I don't have the stamp from Stampin' Up yet, but I'll look for that information and add it for you. But I'm going to recreate this floral design. It makes me think of wheat or a windy flower type look. So I'm going to recreate that, but I'm also looking at how to make the inside of this card a little bit different. So you'll see that. One of the other things that I'm going to do is I will show you the cutting for this card, because what we're making is a tent card. I'm going to show you a little bit of the cutting, but I'll speed through the cutting a little bit, but I'll give you the dimensions. So this is going to be a tent card. And the first thing I want to do is I want the card base to be 3 3/4 by 11, and then I'll score it at 5 1/2. So that's what I'll do here today. So now that we have our cardstock cut for our card base, we also have the inside ready to go, and we'll work more with that in just a minute. I want to go ahead, and the inside piece is 3 1/2 by 10 3/4. And you can adjust that as you decide how you want to do the inside of your card base. I'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing there. We're going to make a continuous design, and I may or may not use it, but I wanted to try it here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the actual 3x4 card design and we're going to cut it down. So that particular card design was cut down to 2 3/4, and I left it at 4 so that that tent card would stand up really well. And by the way, this is a horizontal tent card, not a vertical tent card. So now I'm going to take that piece that is 3 1/2 by 11, and I'm going to show you what I thought would work, and you'll see I do end up using most, if not all, of it. I'll take my stamp, and at this point I hadn't quite decided which of those designs I was going to use, and what I decided was to grab my big block, and I'll take that big block and I'll grab the hay look, and I'll stamp that all the way across the bottom. I'll use it with my Stampin' spots. So in this case, I needed to put that onto the tall, long, skinny block. Now you're going to see this is when I changed my mind. Initially, I was going to do it in just honey butter. Then I grabbed the Hello Honey from Stampin' Up, and then I also thought, why not put the pecan pie in here, which is one of the new colors from Stampin' Up, and that's what I did. I'm going to just dab it a little bit, and you're going to see in a minute that I'm going to do a little bit of dabbing of each of the colors and kind of blend them a little bit with that blender brush. And I do like how this turned out. There's several ways you can do this, and I'll show you several of them here today. You'll see where I'm blending it to get a smoother transition. Now I've decided this is going to be that continuous look, and so I'm going to put it there and stamp it. I stamped off the first time to see what that would look like, and it looks like that's going to make it just light enough, the color that I'm looking for. I think it turned out great. Now I'm going to move it over and stamp it on the other side. You'll see I do have to do this a few times. Now I know that I'm probably not going to recreate this design 100% like the card, the 3x4 card, but what I thought was it would be nice to kind of bring it into the inside. So I'm going to take the stamp set that I have available, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to ink it up with one color, ink it with the second color, and blend it, stamp off a bit, and see how I like it. Take a look. And I do like it. I like it a lot. Now let's take a look at trying to recreate that watercolor look. I've done this in videos before, but I wanted to once again take a few minutes to show you just how simple this is. So now I wanted to work on that inside piece. Remember we talked about putting that inside piece together while I made the hay look, but now I wanted to recreate that focal point lightly so that you could see it on the inside of the card, but still be able to write your message in there. So you're going to see here where I grabbed some painter's tape. I've torn it to make it look like clouds, and then I'm going to attach it about a quarter of the way down on that 3 1/2 by 10 3/4 piece. Again, I'm looking for that continuous look. Then I'm going to grab my blender and my Night of Navy and start blending. Now in hindsight, I wish, and you'll see I do this later, I wish I'd have grabbed the Hello Honey and started with that. So learn from my mistake. I would definitely start with the Hello Honey going forward. But anyway, all I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to just lightly place that right there at the top with the cloud look and make that bluish look. I'm going to kind of recreate that look. So I'm going to create several of these. So while I'm creating those, I thought we'd chat just a bit. I wanted to let you know that there were a bunch of new products that came out on July 3rd. I've been so tied up. Just to let you know, for 2 weeks I didn't even have a voice. I couldn't do any type of voice. I did put out a short video, and I'll link that in here, where I showed you one of the new products, which is called Lake Life. It's a close to my heart product that is being sold within Stampin' Up now. And I did get a few of those layouts done for scrapbook pages, but had no voice. So I was not able to put that video out with a voice. So now what I'm going to do is just show you that short. And then there are several other things that came out, and I will be showing you those in upcoming videos. But I wanted to let you know that's part of the reason for some of this delay in getting this video out. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you is that I've been tied up trying to help take care of my new grandbaby. But I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of where and what's been going on. And it's been absolutely wonderful. Our new grandbaby is beautiful. I'm not allowed to show photos, but I wish I could because he's just precious. So while I'm going through this, I'm moving the tape around. I just want to make it look like it's flowing better. Hindsight again, I wish I had started with the lighter color because I went a little bit dark on this. But you're going to see that I bring this back in the end. I end up with several cards from working with this. I'll speed through this a little bit so that you can see how this turns out. So I did, again, go ahead and put in that two-tone look. Again with the Hello Honey and the Pecan Pie. I put it here in the corner. And then on the other side, remember, I'm looking for that continuous look. And then on the other side, I'm actually going to put the straw hay look on the other side. Now here, I'm just going to go ahead and show you kind of where this has gone and what we've done. So what you see here is we've done two continuous looks. Now, in the final product, I actually cut these up a little bit because of what I want to do on that inside look. So as I was going through here, I thought, you know what? Let's make a few of those, more of those designs so I can create focal points. Instead of just thinking about the inside of the card, I thought, ooh, I really like this. I think I want to make these focal points. So now I've got to create some more, which you're going to see that I do here. I'm going to grab a few of those individual 4 by 5 1/4 pieces of cardstock that I have in my handy dandy little photo album. I just keep it handy sitting beside my desk at all times so that I can grab papers and scraps as I need them. So that's just a cardstock of 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to show you another way to do this. Similar, I'm going back through and I'm building my cloud look. I'm building kind of that watercolor look. But this time I started with the lighter colors. Then I added in the darker colors, and I like this much better because I think it could be used for either the focal point or it could be used for the inside of the card. Just playing around, and that's what I like to do when I'm card making. Now I'll grab my focal point and add that in. I did get a little heavy with my Night of Navy. I decided to add and make that just a little bit taller because I didn't want to cut off the bottom. And so what you're going to see here is I don't waste that. I end up using that and recreating that focal point with that particular design. So now, as I was going through and looking at that, I thought, I'm just going to recreate another one so you can see that. And I'll speed through this pretty quick. But again, I'm just working on looking for continuous looks for the inside of the cards, still the ability to write on it. And then last but not least, if needed, it now becomes a focal point. But I did recreate this and I really like how it looked. Now I know this video is getting long, so I'm going to shorten it, but I did want to show you the Stampin' Up markers and show you how I use that to actually just use that brush tip pen, lightly dab over the top, and then go ahead and stamp that on top of those designs that I've created, and now I have another way of making that focal point work. So as you can see, I've got quite a few now. Since I made the decision to use the ephemera pack, I did a sneak peek in there of that ephemera pack, grabbed a bunch of those. I needed 2 or 3 cards in the next couple weeks. I need a birthday card, which you'll see I create here in a minute. More of a masculine look, even though it has that flower look, it is less girly here. So there is that. And then you see all the other statements I have there. I needed 3 thank you cards because I have some folks that I need to send those to. So what I'm going to do is use those. Oh, and by the way, those little 1-inch strips, I think I made a note earlier on it, but those 1-inch strips, those are just the remaining pieces of that cut off from the cardstock bases. And so now I'm going to use them to put on the back side of those sentiments to create the thank you cards. I wanted to take advantage of the fact that I needed a focal point. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to split it in half, and by the time I'm finished I will have those 6 cards, because what I've done is I've taken those pieces that I wasn't quite crazy about them for the inside, and now I'm going to make them a focal point. And I've got a note that says today is about you, and then here's the inside. That's one of the looks that we created with the wheat on the right hand side. There you see where it's standing up for you, and it stands up very nice, by the way. Again, lots of different ways, and I know I keep chatting, so I'm going to stop now and ask you that if you like this video, please subscribe. Let me know what you think about it. Hit the like button and the notification for me. Oh, and do send me a comment, because it helps YouTube to notice me, but it also helps me figure out what kind of videos you might want to see in the future. I want to thank you again for joining me, and until next time, have a great day.